Hello, ladies and gentlemen, preparing right now for episode number 10 on SuperNatural's Journey Show. And today we are having our special guest, Angelika, Dutch. Thank you so very much for your time watching the show. Please drop on your questions if you have any of them. Today we are going to talk about how to decode spirituality and any other subject. So we have no limitations in discussing our chat with our audience and our friends. Please drop in your questions, comments, say hi, say bye bye, whatever you want to do, just feel free to do it. So on today's episode, the special guest from Poland, Miss Angelika Duch. It's my pleasure to be here with you and to decode spirituality. What really is spirituality? So spirituality is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or... Okay, I sent you the request. So the spirituality is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or...
Yay!
Finally, hello.
We've got this.
Yes,
How are you?
I am amazing. Thank you very much. I was expressing the translation or the definition of spirituality, the word spirituality, what really means, because I have never got into to read it online. So, is the quality of being
Yeah, me
concerned
neither, to be honest.
is the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul, as opposed to material or physical things. So it's the unseen,
Yeah.
which is probably 99.99% of the universe.
Well, it kind of depends for every person is different because we kind of, as we go along, we have different capacity to see different things. So what is unseen for you might be seen for someone else. So what's unseen for me might be seen for someone else. So this is, I believe, how we perceive reality is also, it depends on every other person. So you cannot really, to me, it's difficult. Like, I have never seen a definition of spirituality. Never, ever. Neither could I ever define it. And that is, I believe this is so deeply personal for every other person. And I really believe it is just the essence of who we are. So you can be not concerned with spirituality, yet you are still a spiritual being. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
you
think
can you
you
can
are.
be concerned. Huh?
Yes, I mean
Please go.
you can be asleep or awake, and most of us are asleep nowadays in our
Yeah,
society.
but that you're still a spiritual being, so it doesn't change your essence. It doesn't make you be not spiritual. When you are not interested in spirituality, as in you're not meditating, you are not reading books, you are not consciously acknowledging that this part is the real truth, but you are still a spiritual being even when you're asleep. So
Y-
this is kind of what I always say to people, that everyone is a spirit. Like, we have a spirit, therefore we are a spirit being inside. Even when we are so wrapped up in the material world, every single one of us has this potential, has this inner capacity to express, in the spirit and to communicate with the spirit. So this is how I see it.
Well, for
Does it
me,
make sense?
yeah, well, for me makes sense. I hope for
Mm-hmm.
everybody else makes sense as well. So how can we have the connection and have a language or an understanding with the spirit? Um,
Mm-hmm.
what?
So You see, I kind of have gone away from communicating with the spirits per se. So I can give you a very simple answer, that is, my answer is by connecting to yourself and to getting to know yourself, you know, like they say, know thyself. So it's kind of like this, that to me personally, and I have noticed that for many other people, that you truly learn about what being a spirit being, what does it mean, is by connection to yourself, and the connection to yourself only. So you can read all the spiritual books, you can meditate all day, you can go to all the fancy classes, you know, like yoga, like charge your chakras, work with crystals, you can do all those things. And it might not necessarily, hello, whoever that is,
Tayyibat.
um, you might not be bringing you any closer. In fact, what's the ring? It
It's
might not be bringing you any closer to knowing yourself, because you are still.
sorry.
You need a minute?
Yeah, you can keep going because he will ring again if I don't go. Okay, keep
Okay,
talking and I'll
no
come back straight
worries.
away.
Sure. So, oh, Elon Musk, here we go. I'm just reading his biography. Very interesting guy. So, what I was saying is that getting close to the spiritual life, you know, quote unquote, hey, Charles, is getting to know yourself, because you can look for every spiritual definition. Welcome back to your
Okay,
own show, right?
thank you. It's not the first time. Usually I have
You
kids.
can get to know every spiritual definition. You can go to every spiritual class, to every seminar. You can attend all the webinars about spiritual shows and hear everyone speak their own truth, you know, and sharing their own experience. Yet again, at the end of the day, it's just you, and you are facing yourself. So the more you look on the outside, and the more definitions you are soaking in from the outside, the more this is actually creating a gap between knowing yourself, because what you are taking in is what other people say, what other people express, what other people's truth is. Once when you actually drop into your body and get to know your feelings and your emotions, that's where the true spirituality is, to me personally. It is about diving deep into your body, diving deep into your feelings and emotions, and learning who are you really. And I believe that no books, no videos, no scriptures, they're not gonna tell you who you truly are. So this is something that we learn within. Is that clear? Do you have any
Yes,
questions?
I have questions always. So
Please.
to start the journey, the spiritual journey, you can start it with a group or with a spiritual teacher or by yourself. How it usually starts in
So
your
for
case.
me, maybe I will show for you how it started for me, and then, you know, for everyone it is different. So I just first of all want to say that it is in stages. So we will go through different stages, because how it began for me was with a person, was with my ex-partner, with my ex-boyfriend, you know. And together we have met our first teacher, who was a Romanian guy. He was a Romanian guy in London. And Romanian? Yeah, he was Romanian. And he was just the most typical guy. You would look at him and you would never say that he is who he is. And I didn't even know how we met him. It was completely random. But he was incredible, you know. We would sit, and we didn't pay him any money. So he didn't take any money from us. He didn't charge us nothing. We just gave him food. Every time he would come, we would make him our guest. We would cook food for him, we would make him dinner, and we would pay for his tickets, you know, so that he can come and see us, and then he can come back. And we would sit together in like on a blanket, you know, on like just like a forest kind of thing. It was in London, it was in Hackney Week, and we were sitting on this blanket, and we were doing healing, and he was teaching us about healing. He was teaching us about, you know, kind of collapsing realities and collapsing your emotions. he was teaching us how to follow the thread of your emotions. So he would show us, he was like, okay, so imagine that a particular situation is like a little red dot, and then imagine that this dot is leading you somewhere and it's going somewhere, and just follow this dot. And where is it leading you? Where can you get to? What is the point of creation for that particular thing? And this is something that along the journey I realized, that this is actually the only way to get to know yourself and get to know your emotions, is to realize that the emotions, they are being Gerald Hackney, yeah. This feeling and emotion that you are experiencing in the moment, it is only a manifestation of something that happened to you along your journey way, way, way back. And since then, it's been like the snowball effect that it has been just perpetuating itself. So he was the first person who has showed us how to go within, how to find the answers within yourself, and how to find what was the first moment when I began to feel this way. And then how can we collapse those so that they don't keep repeating themselves in the future, so that we can move forward in new feelings, new emotions, and new ways of experiencing life. So to me, it began with a teacher, for real. But actually, when you think about it, every single one of us, before we begin with a teacher, we have this moment that sparks something within us, right? That
Yes.
is even making the step so that you can attract the teacher into your life, so that you can manifest that person that's going to come into your life. So I truly believe that it always starts within, it always starts just with you. And then you are going out there because inside of you, you have this kind of like a craving for connection with people who are like-minded, because then suddenly it doesn't satisfy you, your current reality doesn't satisfy you anymore. Suddenly you find yourself not being able, hey Anna, not being able to resonate with the people that you used to resonate anymore. And then your point of attraction changes, so you attract the people, you attract your new tribe, your new friends who are on the same level of the emotional and mental development that you are. And obviously you always attract certain levels of teachers or guides or facilitators, that come in different shapes or forms. You can not pay them, like we didn't pay to this guy, then I worked with someone else and I paid them some money. So it always comes in stages. That's how I see it. So it is different for every person, but I always believe that it starts within. And then we are beginning, thank you, we are beginning to manifest. Oh, thank you. Same frequency. Yeah, if you like Hackney Wake, then for sure. And then you manifest in different forms, and we begin to attract our tribes, and we always grow through connection. I truly believe that connection makes us grow. Connection allows us to see in the mirror of other people, our reactions to different things, our triggers, our feelings, our emotions. So I do believe that we grow spiritually in communities and with other people and on our own. There is no one answer to that. So this is my answer that turned out to be very long for some reason. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I love long answers because sometimes some of the guests they give me like short answers, and I'm kind of blocked because they took
Yeah.
me like very improductive. What's the word? They are unpredictable. No, unpredictable, and I remain without a question. So that's why I need some time to build up the question. Okay, so
Right.
tell us.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my phone in a way that I can use both my hands to speak, because it's difficult to speak just with one hand, if you know what I mean. Because I
Okay,
use my hands a lot.
yes, that's great. Okay, so
Please.
tell us a little bit about what are you doing right now, because I know you had a life like couple years ago. When I first got in contact with you, I think was August last year, and you were in
Mm-hmm.
Nepal, and
Oh
then
yes.
I have
Oh
started
yes.
to follow you. So tell us a little bit, what are you doing right now? And if you want to
Mm.
come back in the past as well, is great. So tell
Yeah,
us.
because sure, because I believe they all ties together. You know, we had this conversation on private chat that past, present, and future are all mixed together. There
Is
is
only one.
no.
There is only one. Is only present.
It is because you will always notice that your life there is of course we perceive past, and some of us can perceive the future, right? But the present moment is where they all meet. So, for example, you know, I was in Nepal and I took myself out of the 3D world. I took myself completely out. I was completely flying on a cloud for 10 months. I did jack shit. I'm sorry. I don't know
That's
if your
okay.
audience
You.
is allowed to have swear words.
We have nobody under 25 here, I think.
Yeah, that's good. So, I hope no kids here.
No.
And so I took myself completely out of this matrix, what we call the matrix. We can then, if you want, we can go to define what the matrix actually is, but let's leave it for later.
Okay.
So, and I was completely out. I took myself out of my family, out of my friends. I didn't have any contact. I shaved my hair. I let it all go, right? Everything that was behind me, I let it all go. And I have gone into a lot of things around my pain and around my emotions, around my feelings, around my dreams, around the things that I didn't want. Like it has all become kind of messed up, but through that there was a lot of clarity that came out, because I don't know if you've noticed, through the most messy situations sometimes we get the most clarity afterwards. So okay, 10 months have passed, and I came back to my family. And then I went traveling again with another person, with a teacher whom I don't find a teacher anymore and with whom I have no contact anymore. But I'm not going to say anything about that because this is not my place to say anything negative. I don't have much positive to say, so I'm just not going to say anything, right? You know how that works. So after that period of travel, I came back home again. And that was the time when I have realized how I have been running away from my past 7 years. Because I lived in London for 6 years. I was traveling then for 2 years. And I was like, holy shit, I never came back to fix what I thought was broken. And when I came back and I acknowledged that I was running away from my family a lot, and I was not willing and I was not ready to connect with them heart to heart and to listen and to truly be like, okay, I'm human, you're human, we are one family, we have chosen to be in it together. We have a lot to learn from each other. It's not like I have gone on a spiritual journey, so now you have to be learning from me and you have to be listening to me. I let go of that completely. When I came back home after this traveling period, I was like, I am here to learn. Please show me what I missed. Please show me what I missed so that I was not able to connect with my family, so that I was not able to communicate in a successful way, so that we can understand each other, so that we can grow in love together, so that we can grow in appreciation, in gratitude, in joy, so that we can just have common language, for God's sake. Because it felt like since I was little, I could never relate to my family. I felt like they could never relate to me. So this time I've put all my pride aside, and I was like, you know what? If they chose me to be a part of their family on a soul level at some point, they must be just as evolved as I am, you know?
Yes.
And they must be just playing different rules for me to get my lessons. Therefore, I'm gonna be a student, not a teacher, and I'm gonna learn from them. So I humbled myself a lot. And then since then, it's already been 2 months since I've been home. And I'm living in my childhood room, which we are here now. You know, at the age of 28, I am living in my childhood room with my family for the next 2 months. And I am learning about my childhood. I am learning about myself. I am allowing this is actually very very vulnerable subject and very touching, you know, inside, because I am learning about my inner child, and I am allowing her to be in front of my family, in front of my people, you know. I am allowing her to be as she didn't feel that she was allowed to be when she was little. So it's almost like I am reliving consciously, hey Astrid, I am reliving my childhood again from a conscious perspective, from a perspective of having this awareness that it is right now, but there is a past that I'm integrating and there is a future that it is leading to. So I am bringing in the parts of myself that felt like they don't want to be an adult, because they don't want to do adulting because they didn't do childhood that much. So I have, you know, felt to literally give myself a big break to follow whatever I need to follow. On energy level, I'm always doing work, but on a physical level, I have taken time off. I'm actually not doing any clients. I'm not doing any facilitation for the next 2 weeks. I'm just taking it completely for myself. And I just know that this time is leading me to beautiful unfoldments, because I'm making peace with the parts of myself that I have left behind, so to say. So it's almost like you're picking those little soul fragments whilst you're traveling, whilst you're going back home to reconcile with your family. You are picking up little fragments of yourself that you have left behind, that you haven't acknowledged, and you are placing them back into your heart. And then, you know, in that unfoldment of future, it is making you into much more a whole, energetically whole person, so to say. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing also a lot of crazy research, both energetic and just you know, physical. Let's call it this. And I'm uncovering many agendas and many programs that are running in the society. And it's actually really exciting for me to be having time to just do whatever the fuck I want, really. So this is what I'm doing.
Yes, exactly. A little bit myself, because I don't have a 9 to 5 job or something that takes me away time. I just have two little monkeys, 3 and 5 years old, that I have to look after, feed, clean, and this is it. I have a lot of time to do research, to read, and to understand myself better, and how I can create something bigger than myself. Okay, a quick
Mm.
question, maybe for those that don't know. Why have you cut off all your hair?
Ah, so this is actually a this is going to be this is going to be, oh wait, because someone says no need to work 9 to 5, says who? No one said there is no need. I mean, unless I didn't hear, because there is some interruptions in the line, but I didn't say that there is no need for anyone, because the fact that I am not working 9 to 5 job, it doesn't mean that it is everyone should do that. So it is something that is currently my reality, and I have made it my reality because I have replaced. You know what? I actually do work 9 to 5 because I work probably 24/7 at
Yes.
this point in my life. So when we are referring 9 to 5, I believe that what we mean is having a job that you were hired by someone else, correct?
Yes.
That's what we're referring to. So I'm hired by me, and that makes me, okay, now I'm lost. But yes, I agree with both that there is no need, there is need for some, and we are not sheep and we don't need to do what other people are doing, correct? So now back to my hair. You know, it has grown so much.
Yeah, I nearly have it like yours. I'm just
Yeah.
probably a couple months behind.
No, like look, if I actually, because mine is also getting a bit curly.
My one is very
So
curly as well.
yeah. So how it all began, the whole why it happened, it began some years ago when I was in London, and I just got to London and I had severe depression, severe anxiety, severe panic attacks. We actually have a similar hairstyle. Severe depression, severe anxiety, severe panic attacks, severe not being able to cope with reality, not being able to find my place in the world, not being able to relate to people I had. This is when my kind of awakening has begun, but I didn't know at the time. So I began to pick up on other people's feelings, emotions, thought forms. I was hearing thoughts in my head, and I'm like, I must be ill. I must be crazy, I must be going off, off the top. I mean, I'll probably be closed in some kind of institution. Yeah, stress related, definitely. Stress is just so nasty, like it can cause us so many troubles. So for me, how it manifested was I was eating a lot of sugar. I wasn't living a healthy life. I was always stressed, but borderline panic stress, not just kind of medium stress levels that might be even motivating for people, that you might even use it towards something fueling, but borderline panic, borderline anxiety, borderline psychosis, like when I was going on a tube in London, I was completely crazy. Sometimes I had to get out and vomit because it was just so intense. The energy and the emotions sorry, were so intense, and I didn't know how to deal with this, right? So I didn't, because I didn't know how. And at some point my hair began to come out, just from stress, from poor nutrition, from all those things. So I was really scared that I was going to go bald, but I didn't. I did not go bald. I have brought myself to some kind of balance, and my hair was still there. It was long like this, and um and this kind of disappeared from my awareness. As I moved on, I didn't deal with that level of anxiety. I just kind of pushed it down because the manifestation of it has changed. I was taking a lot of hair supplements, good shampoos. I was spending so much money on hair products. It's absolutely ridiculous. And fast forward a few years, I am in Nepal, and I've been having big issues because I was in Nepal. I could not relax because my hair was not right. It was completely, like, it was so messed up because it was really humid and it was really hot, and I would always lose hair tie. Like, I don't know what happened. They were always lost. So my hair was going like, dready kind of, and like really, really sticky, and I felt really hot. And again, my hair began to come out a little bit because I was so stressed about many things, not just my hair. I don't think the hair is just the last thing that manifests out of all this anxiety. So it was with my boyfriend at the time. He said, "Why don't you shave it?" And I went crazy. I was like, "You are fucked up. You don't understand me. You don't understand emotions. How can you say something like this? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is just completely, you are crazy. You hate me." And he's there like, "Whoa, I was joking." So he was joking, but I took it so personally because it was such a big trigger to think that I may not have heard. Because I believe that my hair it means my femininity, it means who I am, and I was so identified with my hair. And then he was like, "Look at your reaction. I was just joking, and you made it." You made it into this big deal. You made it into something just huge and completely ridiculous. And I'm like, wow, that's true. I did that. I went crazy. And then I was sitting with myself and I was like, okay, I want to do something that really scares me. So I was going for different options: bungee jumping, wild water rafting, all sorts of things. Nothing scared me as much as shaving my hair, right? And I was like, wow, wow, I think I'm gonna do it.
So
So
have you done it,
we were
or your boyfriend done it for you?
so what happened, we were in Kathmandu and I was like, you know what? I want to make it into like a ceremony. I don't want it to be just someone shaves it and that's it. So I was just asking for the most perfect place where we can do it. And I didn't want to buy a shaver and do it in a hotel because I didn't have much money at the time. So spending money for a shaver was completely off the top. So we found like a spa kind of place and we rocked up there and we're like, we want to shave our hair because he did it with me. And the people were like, well, both of you? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, what? Because I had long blonde hair and in Nepal having blonde hair is like, you want to shave it, you are Whoa, I'm back. You want to shave it, this is crazy, you know. And so we did that. We rented. We had like a private room. Um, when there was few stations, but no one was there. We closed the door, and I just made a ponytail, and then I cut it off, and then he shaved my hair. And you know, the moment I cut it off, I was like, oh my god, this is happening. And then you know, he shaved my hair on one side and I'm like, oh my fucking god, this is happening right now. I have to I have to go all the way. I can't just leave it like this, you know. And it has occurred to me that I'm just gonna be bold. So I did it and then I did it to him. And I noticed the moment it was gone, the moment it was completely off, I felt so liberated. I felt so light. I felt like, you know, all those feelings and emotions and memories because her, this is kind of proven scientifically. I will not quote you any quotes, but it has been proven that hair holds memory.
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why the Native American people want to keep their long hair. And that's for the very same reason I wanted to not keep it. And so I felt like shaving my hair was almost like a ritual. It was almost like letting go of the past and saying, I acknowledge everything that has happened. I acknowledge all those things. And now it's time to start fresh. Now it's time to move on. Now it's time to start anew, to be reborn, and to completely change the direction of where I'm going. So I guess that's a very long answer to a very simple
Well,
question, yeah.
you always have long answers, which is
I
uh,
know.
which is great because you are a great speaker, right? So yeah,
I
I think the same that as a Native American said that hair is an extension of the nervous system, if I'm not
mm,
wrong. So
yeah.
yeah,
Oh no way.
okay. From your point of view, what do you think the mission of spiritual people is to be in this world, apart thinking about
Mm-hmm.
themselves? What about the
Mm-hmm.
rest? Because over there, I'm having a transition. I was discussing 2 nights ago. Wasn't able to sleep with Katrina, if you know her,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a debate because I believe that I have reached to a above average level of spirituality, and I don't really think about myself because I feel always great. I'm happy. I have this sense of obsession of connecting with people, and when people doesn't want to connect with me, I feel a bit sad because I just want to give you and you say no. It's a bit like, okay, I can accept that, I move forward, but I feel a bit sad inside because I think that we are all interconnected, all 7.8 billion, but actually we are not connected. We live in little communities, families, where we're not going to evolve. We just destroy ourselves.
Mm.
So what is the mission of a spiritual warrior like you, for example, apart yourself, apart that journey?
Give me a second to gather my answer this time, because I'm not
Okay.
gonna freestyle on this one because it might go in the wrong direction.
Luke, hi, yeah, you are already connected to us. We need more people. Luke is already connected.
It's true. It's true, this one. So, okay, so definitely what I'm gonna say at the beginning is we are connected and there is oneness on a spirit level, but on a human level, we came here to experience the duality
Mm,
and we came here to experience the separation and to bring it back together. So the first of all, it is the most important thing actually is connecting to yourself, because if you cannot connect to yourself and you are connected to everyone, how will you connect to other people?
you don't
You
know.
know? Yeah. And I truly believe that everything happens as it's supposed to happen. So when I reach a certain stage, when I am supposed to be connecting to certain people, I will connect to those people, regardless of what is happening in my life. It truly doesn't matter. Truly doesn't matter what you do consciously, what you're pushing for, it doesn't matter. So, what I'm gonna say might be a bit far-fetched for some, but what I believe is that we have certain amount of souls that are assigned to us, that you can call them soul family, but I don't see it as soul family. I see soul family as something separate to that. But they are the people that you are here to connect with and that you resonate. I'm getting shivers. So as you resonate with them and you are meant to be coming together in one form or another based on different factors, and there are a few factors. Some of them are life experiences and different threads, different emotional energetic threads that you have in this life, so that you are serving each other in this mirror kind of experience. So I truly believe that when the time is right, everything is coming together like a puzzle. So, say I was at the point in my life where I was very self-focused because I had to discover this connection to myself first. And then, I opened a group for women and I have begun to do women's circles and connecting to women. And now I connect with more and more people across the whole world through my travels and, through Facebook. Facebook is a magnificent tool for connection. It is a little fucker that is listening to us, and it's kind of tracking us in different ways, and it's censoring our speech in some ways, but at the same time it allows us to communicate, and it's allowing us to form connections that we wouldn't otherwise form, because like we met online, right? And with so many people who are on this call I have never met in person. So I believe that it is a magnificent tool, and I believe that those connections, they always happen, and not everyone is meant to connect with everyone. No, not every. Not anyone is meant to connect with anyone. Do you know what I mean? That
Yes.
there are certain people that will come into your space, and they will come into your space regardless. And you can literally go to the shop and not even intend on connecting with people, and you're gonna bump into someone who's gonna change your life, because you're gonna have this kind of perspective from this person that you have been missing, and you're like, holy fuck, you are the person I was supposed to meet. And so it happens, especially when you travel. Traveling is incredible for forming communities, forming connection, and then doing this conscious work together. So when I was traveling, I met so many people that I was just astounded by how it is perfectly pieced together. That, I go on the street and I meet this person and I'm like, I feel like I know you so well. Or sometimes you clicked on someone's Facebook page and you have this, like, I know you. You are the person that I'm meant to connect with. So I do believe that connection is the way forward, and I believe that creating communities where we can be fully ourselves, where we can grow together, where there is the resonance on the soul level, where there is the resonance on the emotional level, and we can be open and we can be vulnerable with each other, and we can build together our skills, our gifts. We can share our skills and our gifts. We can build conscious communities where we can raise conscious children, where we can make good food, grow good food, where we can have appreciation for the beauty of nature, for the animals, you know. That was me with you. Yes,
Appreciation of
same.
simplicity, of
Oh,
kindness,
yes,
of
yes, yes.
I don't know, of dedication, of love. You haven't mentioned love. The word love, you haven't really mentioned at all by now.
You see, because there are some things when you experience them, there's no more need to mention them everywhere. It's like I don't really use the word spiritual anymore, you know. In the work that I do, I don't use this word anymore, because it's like I don't use the word joy, because I have so
I
much joy.
am.
I just don't, it's just not there anymore. It's like I don't need to say to my parents that I love them. You know, I don't go to my mom and I don't say to her every day, Mom, I love you, I love you. She fucking knows I love her, right? So with love, it's like, what, I mean, love is, I truly believe that this is our nature. When love and joy, to me personally, love and joy, love and joy, love and joy is all that I am when I am in my balanced state. And especially joy, because I believe that joy comes out of love. It's like the next manifestation, because we can be in love, we can love, but at the same time be sad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we have joy and we have love always underneath it. You know, it always comes together. So definitely growing in, obviously in love, but in joy, enjoying life. You know, we are here to enjoy life. We are not here to struggle. Some people would say that life is terrible, but I really believe that it is through overcoming the struggle. It is not about struggle, it's about overcoming the struggle, you know. But I feel like you want to say something right now.
No, yeah, it's there are a few words like if you appreciate where you are, no matter where you are, and even if you have some past experiences. I had a powerful chat yesterday with Susan Gunner, and she said that unconscious is being created in the first 3 years of our life, and we can't control it and we can't change it. So therefore, if you connect with all your experience in the past and you accept all of them, you embrace them, you as Kyle C said, everything that comes into your life, whether thought or experience, just fucking love it and move on.
Mm,
What's the point to stay connected with the pain and keep thinking about that pain giving birth to other similar thoughts? Just
yeah,
appreciate simplicity.
yeah. But it's easy to say. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Because how about someone who has been through such an immense trauma in their life that it's almost like they they need a tool. They need, it's I don't believe that it's true that we cannot change it. I absolutely do not agree with this, because when you go deep enough into yourself and you acknowledge everything in a way that it becomes almost like an alchemical process, because there is no past, present, and future, they're all intertwined. When you connect on a really deep level to the point of creation of that, and you see the arrangements on a soul level that have been done, when you see, oh, this happened so that this can happen, and then you see, oh, this happened, they behave this way because this and that, and then you're like, okay, so what did I need in the moment? And you are actually taking yourself into that moment when initially that trauma happened. when you're actually in it. So you are in it, you feel the pain, you feel the sadness, you feel the grief, you feel the loss, you're looking at your father and he is angry at you, and you're feeling all those emotions. And then you are asking yourself, what did I really need at that time when I was this little child that felt lost? Do I really need to be saying to myself, get the fuck over it and move on and be happy? No, I don't need that. I need to acknowledge how I really felt. That little child inside me needs to be comforted. It needs to be made sure and be assured that this happened not because he was guilty, or not because he was a bad boy or a bad girl or whatever, you know. It needs to be acknowledged and it needs to be felt, because otherwise this is the spiritual bypassing that we do very often, that we just say all is well, all is light and love, and we can move on, and then we pretend we move on when we don't understand how everything is lodged inside of your body, and it's not as simple as your conscious mind saying that I move on. It simply doesn't work that way, because we have the mental body. So what you're saying is the mental body integration, and that is just one of them. Then you have the emotional body, you have the physical body that is connected to those feelings and emotions, you have the energy body that actually holds sometimes those feelings and emotions that are coming from this so-called reincarnation loop, or the parallel reality experience, where simultaneously we are experiencing those feelings and emotions on so many levels that it is just not as simple as NLP. It is not just as simple as saying to yourself, I let go, I move on, and from now on I focus on happy thoughts. Because all those people that say it, when you get them in their darkest moment, they don't fucking know what to do, and their affirmations are not helping anymore. And I see it time, and I'm being very heated right now and passionate, so don't never take me personally.
Not just
We Taibi says, I hope I'm pronouncing your name. We need
Taibia.
to get to the root. Oh, it disappeared.
We
So
need
yeah,
we need to
we need to
get to
get to
the
the
root.
root of.
Yes, please say it.
Yeah, we need to get to the root of it. We need to see exactly what was happening. We need to see exactly how did I feel, because it is quite likely that I'm perpetuating those feelings and emotions in my later life without even realizing why. And the moment I realize why, I stop doing this. And I don't stop doing this, it is very inefficient method to keep convincing your mind that you are not feeling this anymore, because this is not your mind that's feeling it. So I just don't like, this is not the way I work with people, and this is not the road I would ever take any one of my clients down. That I would just tell them, just forget about it, just move on, just, you know what, it's just not productive to think this way. How can you say to someone that, for example, has been a victim of ritual abuse and they have been raped time and time again for 10 years of their life, just get over it and think happy thoughts, when their mind, when their brain is wired in such a deep way for trauma, and when their brain is so wired that first they need to heal so that that doesn't stop. I'm getting shivers. What I'm saying is
Get
quite on point. So what happens when your brain forms those connections? It is all connected to the body, so the body is the first one to react. So you can tell yourself, this just keeps happening, so you can tell yourself that, well, I'm gonna use something else. 1 second, please. Thank you. Woo! Okay, so you can tell yourself that I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. And then a man comes to you and then he wants to fix your hair and he raises his hand and you're doing this. Why? Because your body is not feeling safe. That little girl inside you that is living, say, in your heart, or in your stomach, wherever you're feeling this emotion, she is not feeling safe. And you can tell her she is safe a million times over, and you can play tricks on her mind, but she knows in her heart that doesn't feel safe. And before you go and acknowledge and do that healing work, deep healing work, not just the surface, not just the mind level, not just the conscious, what we can consciously understand, but what our unconscious has done. So, you know what? That is like by saying that, and just please realize I'm not disregarding anyone who said XYZ. I am just saying from my own perspective how it is. And I believe that yes, we are forming unconsciously those patterns, those beliefs, those behaviors. But then this is the mind level stuff. When we go on a soul level, there is always a reason. There's always a reason why that happened. So we, by not acknowledging it fully, we are not allowing ourselves to integrate the certain gift that comes from it. And this is something a little bit controversial for some people, that through going through pain, we actually can unravel certain gifts that make us stronger. And it's almost like they're giving us an extra layer of that. So, for example, if you have experienced abuse, the what would you say, for example, is the opposite emotion of abuse? Abuse is not an emotion, but what is the opposite experience of abuse?
Well, for example, I've been abused. I was being beaten like really bad by my
Well, no wonder we're speaking about it, right?
yeah, well,
Unfair.
yeah, but I was saying yesterday as well that the only things that I remember from my childhood was the fear from and the negative situations. I don't remember nothing really great. That only
Mm-hmm.
my father was beating me like crazy. Like I was like an animal. And when I see now one of my daughters that she's crying, I don't know how to love them. But when I was crying, my father used to beat me harder. And it's funny because now I don't really have that feeling connection because I have said it so many times to myself. However, I'm getting, if I hear noise around me, I'm just scaring the shit out of me. I even shout, so panicked. I'm getting from I believe from those. So I'm very very sensitive for this kind of situations.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Even though, first of all, thank you for sharing so vulnerably. I really appreciate it. I know I was getting somewhere with this abuse, but I just didn't know where. So, and this is it. Even though you have done so much work, in your mindset, your body is still reacting in a certain way,
Yes,
right?
unconsciously reacts.
Because there are so many layers.
Mm.
There is just so many layers.
Infinite.
And to say exactly, and to say that we can remove that issue by focusing on our mind, it is just not a whole approach. And I'm sure that it's helping. I am sure that it makes a big difference to do that or not do that, to do the mind work, to do the mindset work, or not do anything at all. It makes an infinite of a difference. I am 100% sure. However, this is not the whole work. This is not the whole. Um, when you work just with the mind and you're leaving the body and you're leaving the the emotional and the energetic body also, that's when this is not a whole picture, and this is why your body is still reacting to this. And this is why your emotional body is still creating the dissonance, that you want to hug your daughter and you want to be with them, but the emotional body is creating a barrier because you don't know how to, because your modeling is to inflict more pain on a person that is already having pain, but you will never do that, so you don't know what to do instead, so you are just not doing anything. And this is normal. When we don't work with those deep layers, we are disassociating. When we have enough conscious awareness and we have done enough work not to perpetuate this very behavior, we disassociate instead. And
And
this is just the way it is.
what came into my mind now that I have the same reaction as my father had with me. He was always shouting at me, you know. When you are drunk, you can't really stay calm and have a chat with somebody. You just
Yeah,
so right
it's
now,
true.
sometimes when I lose my patience with my daughter, I start shouting. And I have developed over the years a sense of awareness that is somewhere on my mind, on the, which one is the emotional side of the brain, on the left hand side. and I am aware about the emotional side, which men, majority of them, they think only with the right, the logical, right? So the emotional side, the feminine side of my being, I I bring her up front so I can be aware about when I'm doing something a bit out of normality, and I bring myself in, and I just go back and I reset the emotions. So I think, yeah, awareness, conscious awareness is something really, really big, because if we are able to integrate in a way or another at a global level, where more and more people gather together thinking kind of the same, we have to be conscious about nature and other people, and then profits. This should be the humanity plus kind of businesses. But unfortunately, business are nowadays only for profits without caring about nothing else. So yeah, it's a great idea, how you said, with building communities is great. But what I think, to heal a person, when you said that it's easier to say than to do, I think the best way is to spend time within a community. I mean, I have been hurt and I want to kind of heal myself. I have to spend time with people like you or like me, or with other people similar like us. So then we see the behavior of us too, and we can pick up, because we as a beings, we are very influential. We become what we have around us, like unconsciously, without even wanting to become. So how should we build communities? What should be the process, or what do you have on your mind?
You know what? I will just share with you how it happened for me when I was in Nepal. We were living on a little farm, and one second, we were living on a little farm, and we had 3 dogs. We were growing food. We were picking food. We were cooking together, and we were, having the most deep conversations. We were doing healings together. We were dancing together. We were taking shower in a mountain water, in like a kind of the shower made out of bamboo, and there was just mountain water coming out of it, and regardless how cold it was always cold water, and you had to get naked outside and get cold, and it was just very basic, simplistic living. You had to go half an hour down the mountain to go and get some food other than what was growing in on the farm. So I kind of experienced this connection, the community connection with people. And then, so I kind of like reverse engineered it for you. So what happens, what do you do in a community? You grow food, you do healing, you play instruments. We would play, like I don't play instruments, but some people were playing drums, some people were playing guitar, some people were playing didgeridoo, some people singing, people were meditating, some people were yoga teachers, there was just like, we had a full shebang going on, right? And I miss it. This is why I want to that's why I'm going traveling again, because I miss this community experience. So we were living on this farm and we were doing all those things, and how we met. So this is something where you reverse engineer. I reverse engineer this whole experience to share with you how the communities come together. It is not by conscious effort. So what happened was, it was first just me and my ex-boyfriend, boyfriend at the time. And then we broke up. Well, we were still together in Nepal, so it was like, we are in one small village, how are we going to keep separate? We're not. So, but we broke up and I left. And I met Jenny. Jenny was a really good friend. Straight away we connected and we became sisters. Then we were living together. And my partner at the time, we separated, so we went to live separate. I lived with Jenny and he met Reese. Reese was a guy who he met. He was doing Reiki, very, very powerful healer. So we very much connected. And then we got back together. So we had Robbie, me, Jenny, and Reese. So we had 4 people already. And then, we are sitting in this guest house that my ex-boyfriend was living in. And there was a girl who came and she was asking for a room. And something within me said, she is joining us, And I'm like, hey! And I'm waving at her and I'm speaking to her and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. This is a great guest house. You will love it. So that she gets the room because I wanted her to stay because I knew that we were going to do something together. Her name was Heidi and she was from Estonia. And she was a nomad, long-time traveler, she was doing permaculture, she was doing farming, she was doing all sorts of things. So we already have 5 people, right? So then Heidi joined us right away. There is already 5 of us. And one day we are walking, and we're walking, and we see a guy looking at the menu we are in the crystal shop, and we are going, mandala shop. We're going in and he's going out. And I just felt this guy, right? Something drawn me to him. So, but anyway, I didn't speak to him. And then we're walking, and he's there looking at the restaurant menu. And Heidi is stopping next to him and she's like, do you need help? How can I help you? What can I do for you? And he's like, I just arrived here, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, all right, okay, join us because we're going to get some food. We will show you some inexpensive, good places where you can connect with nice people and have nice food. So we did that. We sat down and we were actually, because we were selling hash. Don't tell anyone. It's not like this is in public, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this can go. Anyway, I don't care.
Yes.
So he's like, do you know where I can get some hash? And we're like, of course we know. And then, you know what, we're sitting at the table and he's taking out cookies out of his bag, peanut cookies, and we are bursting out laughing because they were the very cookies that we were munching on all the time, the very same brand, the same cookies, and we are laughing and taking out our cookies from the bag, and he's like, and that's the time when we knew that we were going to connect. And he's asking us, so do you know anywhere I can stay? We're like, yeah, you can stay with us on the farm, right? So we already had 6 people. So then, yes, you're doing Nepal. What you do in Nepal? You just sell hashish because what else is there to do?
No. My cousin asked. The farm is from where we grew up. It's a little village where we coming originally from. So he said, you're saying the story from the little farm from Otselen, but I said no, you were in Nepal. About probably he just got in and he was not aware about your story. Okay, continue with the community.
Yes. So, and then there is another guy that some people went to Kathmandu for some kind of business arrangements to get some plants like banana trees or lemon trees, something like this, but they didn't because the farm was closed. But they met another guy, his name was JP, he was from Colombia, and he joined us. So we already had 8 people. 8? Yeah. So and then there was other people who began to come and join us, and they would come just for food. They would come just to help us to create. They made some shelves for the kitchen so that we could have like a kitchen prep. They made some kind of storage bags made of rope, and there were people who would come and play guitar. There were people. They made like a thing for the compost, for the garden, for the farm. There would be people who would come and just do meditation because it was a beautiful place. There would be people who would come do the fire thing, like I don't know how you call it when they do this thing with fire. fire what? I don't know, performers who play with fire. And we would have so many people come and join us, so many people come and visit us just for a little bit. We would cook dinner together, we would sit down together, together and we would have conversations, then we would unravel so much trauma and so much pain, and so many times people would cry, so many times we were just releasing, you know, in this sisterhood and brotherhood that we created together. And this is what I look forward to again building when I go to Thailand. Fire dances, yeah. And what I wanted to share really was that it all happened. It all just happened. We did not plan it. We are going to create community. Hey Kasia, yeah. We didn't think that we are going to create community and we are going to do X, Y, Z. No, it just happened. We just happened to find the land. We just happened to find the right people. We just happened to create this team. And the funniest thing is that we all looked alike. We all had kind of brownish, blondish hair, blue eyes, or gray eyes, or green eyes, and kind of like, you know, like this kind of Nordic, kind of more like Nordic looking people, and we all looked the same. And it was like, holy fuck, how did this happen? If we are not connected on the soul level, then I don't know what that is, right? And you know, obviously the time came when we dismantled and we went separate ways, because this is life. You know, you come together, you grow together, you connect in that space, you learn lessons together, and then you go separate ways. It doesn't have to be like this, because some communities are becoming permanent communities and some communities stay together. But for us, it was more of a lesson that we can create something together, and we already have like a blueprint of how that works. One of those people, JP, he's now building communities in Colombia. They called Crystal Land in Colombia, that they will be doing a rainbow gathering in April. And at ID, she's building communities in Portugal. So, you know, I can go anytime to Portugal or Colombia and just be in a community if I choose to, but this is not something that is calling me right now. So, how do you build communities? Again, a super long answer that I gave you, that they just build themselves. You just are and you are opening yourself to the perfect connections in the perfect timing. We always said, oh, in divine time, you know, and you always get those connections. You always do what you're meant to do. So if it's meant to be, it will always be. But if you're asking for technical stuff, then, but I guess you're not asking for technical stuff. You're not asking me, how do you get sewage out of your property? You're not getting the vegetables watered, how you're getting the toilet cleaned. You know, you need to have arrangements. You need to have arrangements, because we had, you know, like a list. Everyone had to do something. In the morning, I was the one who would wake up and sweep the floor, because I was the first one to wake up, because dogs were waking me up, because it just so happened that that was their mommy, you know. And then it was just like this. And other different people, Jenny was watering the farm, some other person was doing the dishes, another person was bringing the bamboo, another person was bringing the wood for the fire, you know. It's like, you need to work together. And this is kind of why communities, I believe, are so powerful, because we need to learn how to work together, and we need to learn how to become one in that moment. Because in order to have the community up and running, you need to become one, and you need to see that everyone's needs need to be met on the equal level, that you cannot have your needs met when other people's needs are being neglected. So it is very much about communication. It is very much about connection and being heard and listening to other people. What do they need? What are their needs? Because everyone needs to be seen, everyone needs to be acknowledged, and no one should be feeling that they're left behind. And this is when the healing can happen.
The way that you tell this story about community reminds me, because right now I'm reading the book of Huxley, The Island. You ever heard it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a book where they have
the book.
island. it was written like 100 years ago, and they
Uh-huh.
have a society where they have everything done within, and they have no external access to anything from the world. So they live on an island and they do everything by themselves. And
Is that the book that was then made into a movie?
no, 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 no.
No. Hey
This one.
guys!
So it's
Oh, interesting.
by Huxley, and yeah, I think this is the greatest way to do it. But I think first you need some financial.
Oh, well, that's another thing, yeah.
Yeah, because if you have to do everything by yourself, I don't think there are too many people that are willing to get involved. Because what I think now, all these kind of spiritual people, they are going to be the greatest teachers in the world, because I think it's difficult to teach, for example, our parents to think like us. So we have to focus a lot on the young generation, because they are the one that are going to have a bigger impact in the world than our parents, because probably our parents, they're going to live another 10, 20, 30 years, and then they will go on the other side. And the young people nowadays, on them we have to focus to help them to discover themselves, and to not waste the time that we waste. For example,
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
I have discovered myself when I was 35, and
Yeah.
for 35 years I was just a shadow of my ego. So I was, but I think it's something when you discover after you are 30, 35, and then you start really living um, an amazing life.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your plans, for example, in the next 3 years? Because usually people, they overestimate what they are going to achieve in 1 year, but they underestimate the next. So underestimate what you're going to do in the
You know
next 3
what? I've got some interferences on the line. I'm gonna have to move into a different room.
Okay, no problem for me.
1 second. And I'm gonna have to take a charger. Because you're frozen for me and I cannot hear you. Can you speak so that I can know if
Okay,
I can hear you?
so my question for you was, what plans for the next 3 years? What would you do to achieve your 3 years?
Ooh. You know what? That's a great question. That's a great question. But 1 second. But also one that I will have to think of a little bit, because
Okay,
I
I will
don't
answer first if you want.
plan. Please, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the end of the next 3 years, I would love to have created like a tribe.
You can see my dog.
Oh, I thought it's a monkey. The way she. Okay, so at the end of the 3 years, I would love to be able to build up a community with other people, where we make the possible to purchase a little island somewhere, maybe, I don't know, I would prefer somewhere, Greece, that is a bit closer to Europe, and we can build there a community with the retreats for people to heal, and all these kind of different areas, starting from basic education to relaxing, well-being, spirituality, all these kind of teachers that we do have, and I am connected on the online, where people can come and spend their 1 month or 1 week, and they return to their life stronger and wiser and happier, and this is, yes. What about you?
I love this.
Yes.
Because of course it does tie with what I would like.
You see?
Because
So
of
we are
course.
two.
For me, however, it is not about creating and building those things. because you have, in that community, you always have people allocated to different tasks. And some people are the builders, some people are the people who put the technical stuff together. I am not one of those people.
Well, yeah,
I
of
am the
course.
person I am the person who would come and actually run those retreats.
Exactly.
This is one of the things that I see myself doing, is run retreats in the wild, in nature, in like really like being confronted with nature.
With the
And I mean,
wolves.
yes, not necessarily with wolves, but being confronted with nature, because we speak so much about, oh, get to know your wild side, and then we believe that getting to know your wild side means getting naked. No, this is not what it is. It is being able to maneuver in the unknown, you know what? And like, if you're in a forest and in a jungle and you have hundreds of monkeys around you and you're like, holy fuck, what do I do? Because these are the moments that teach us how to hold space, how to hold your space energetically, how to be you, in any situation. And I was recently confronted with a dog that wanted to attack me. And I was like, wow. And this is when the first time when I really integrated my wild side, because I had to be the bigger dog. Because ignoring this dog, I know dogs' behaviors. So I decided, if I just stay still and I just become, if I don't move, he's gonna leave at some point. Fuck no. This dog was not having that. He was not leaving. He was barking and barking and barking, and he was getting closer and closer and closer. And at some point, I'm like, right, I have no choice. I'm not gonna stay here all day, all night until he gets bored and he sees that I'm no threat. And I was trying everything. I was trying to pray. And every time I would pray, he was getting mad. And I'm like, wow, there's something wrong. Is this fucking Satan in this dog, or what is going on with it? Because every time I was praying inside of me, he was getting angry. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was trying to send him like calming vibes. No, he was having none of it. He was fucking vicious. And at some point, my body just moved me, and my body just moved me towards him, and I charged at this dog, and I began to bark at him, and he was like, what? He completely didn't know what's going on, so he finally left. But it wasn't until I went through the stage of fear, and oh, that's a big one, because what I would, okay, but I'm digressing big time again. I cannot speak short.
That's okay.
So what I was going to say was that I want to get people in a position where they are no longer in fear. So kind of my major goal would be with those retreats and with the work. Okay, I'm gonna try to answer your question right
Okay,
now.
do whatever you
So
feel.
in the next 3 years, what I feel for myself would be having an online program running, so that would be an option for everyone. That would be less expensive, and that would be more uh, mm, that everyone could afford it, so that I would have an option for everyone to work with me and for everyone to have that, and not necessarily pay a lot of money for that, because I have noticed a trend in the spiritual community that there are teachers that charge thousands to
Yes,
work with them.
in any area.
And I am not, yeah, in any area, of course, but in spiritual work, this is especially kind of like a little bit dodgy, that you don't really know how to see it, how to relate to that, because it is the kind of work that it should not be elitist. In my opinion, it should be available to everyone in some extent. So my goal is to make my work available for everyone in one way or another, to have, for example, an ebook for like $3, for example, right? Or have an online course that is 90 days for like $400. That is an extremely good value, which is what some people would charge for an hour. And to give people, to have that residual income when I put energy into creating it, but then it's just running itself so that I can give it away at better value for people. So to have my work being seen by those who need it, regardless of how much money they have, is my number one goal. I would say not number one, but it's up there. I see myself traveling still, and I see myself working with different communities. Hey, Mo! I see myself working with different communities, running different retreats, running workshops, speaking. I would really like to speak on TEDx, but I would need to fit in 20 minutes, so I need some work on that. And so this is like I want to speak, but this is kind of like I'm a little bit afraid of that still. I need to plug my phone.
You need to
Uno momento.
practice about speaking.
Huh?
You need to practice about speaking,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
speaking on the stage is the biggest fear in the world.
Yeah, definitely being seen.
Okay.
Something happened, some kind of interference happened here.
From my side, no.
But from my side, I don't
Ah,
know what's going on, but it's almost like anyway. So that yeah, I would like to speak, and I definitely want to break through this fear because I realize this is a fear that's absolutely ridiculous.
well,
Because nothing is gonna happen to you, right? There's no life threat to you.
you,
It's
you
not dangerous.
you have to come to London and come to Standout Speakers Academy to Lux.
I know. I planned that for
Okay.
when I come back. For when I come back from Thailand, this is what I'm gonna do, definitely.
Okay. Okay. We have another 10 minutes maximum because I
Right.
have to go and pick up my daughter. However,
No worries.
we haven't really covered too much about
Yeah.
what
No,
we.
probably not too much, but quite a lot.
Yes, but still, and we're gonna definitely do it in a couple of months or whenever we'll find the right time. Um, uh, Tell me your definition of greatness for
Oh
yourself, for
shit.
your personality.
Mm.
Think about it. Don't rush.
Yeah. To me, greatness to me means acting in alignment with what my heart wants. And it means speaking and acting out of being connected to myself and always being true to myself and to what my heart wants. And keep moving into this direction that my heart wants me to go because I know that that is the ultimate path for me. And as long as I follow this path of my heart, that to me is greatness. Because it is all encompassing and it encompasses success in terms of work, in terms of connections, having valuable, heartfelt connections. That to me, yeah, that to me is greatness. Walking the path of the heart. Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful. When your first book will be ready? Because you are such a good writer, but I don't know why you don't have the book ready.
Wow, I have begun to write 2 books. And I don't feel one of them might never be ready. One of them might be just a way of processing a certain subject in my life, and I may publish it as like a short ebook. But I have begun to write a book about a girl called Veronica who's living in Prague, which is where I'm moving to after I come back from Thailand and I go to London and then I'm going to Prague. So I believe that this book will be ready in about a year's time.
Mm.
That's what I'm feeling because it's like, it's gonna be really cool.
Okay. Asking my last questions, do you have a message for me, for the audience, for the world?
Could you repeat the question?
Before asking my last question,
Yes,
if
a
you have
message.
a message for the world, or I don't know, a declaration or a wish or anything that you feel to speak.
I feel like I have passed quite a few messages already, but the final message that I would have for both your audience and for you and for me and for everyone in the world would be to, again, to follow your heart, to be actually just to be with your heart, as in to get to know your heart, because your heart is your connection to the truth, and it is your connection to God, whoever, however you perceive it. It is, let's call it truth, let's not call it God, because that creates too much division. And it is your connection to that which is true. So it is allowing you to have discernment. It is allowing you to see things as they are, which means sometimes more intense than you thought they were, or sometimes less negative than you thought they were, but it allows you to see things in their true nature, and it allows you to see yourself in your true nature, and it allows you to see other people in their true nature. So to view the world with your heart, because that is in and of itself choosing love above fear. So that would be my message: to choose love, not fear, and to choose joy, choose enjoyment, and to move forward based on what makes you feel good, what makes you feel joyful, what adds to your love, and what adds to your fulfillment.
In the world, as it happened in my life, love, touching the heart, thinking about the heart, thinking about breath for 35 years, they were unexisting for me. You know, can you imagine how sad it is for a human being, a
Oh, I
pure,
can, yeah.
pure, unique, blissful, and joyful soul to not be aware about his or her heart? You know how sad it is? Oh,
I know, yeah.
I feel pity and mercy for this kind of people, because it's really, you are not who you're meant to be. You are not truthful. You are not yourself. You are just a replica of your environment. You are conditioned, programmed with your surroundings. So yeah, let's hope that as many as people, like my mission is, my purpose with this show is to wake up one person. If one person wake up, for me it's great, because that person will wake up more, and they will inspire, they will do the ripple effect to inspire another person, and this is going to do it. Okay, my last question for you, Angelika, today is, what is the impact that you want to have in the world?
Wow.
Imagine you live 100 years, and you have from now on another 122 years. At the end of this, your next 122 years, what would you like to achieve and to have as an impact?
I literally believe, I literally know. However, it might seem to some people that it sounds maybe standoffish. I know that I am here to impact millions of people in whichever platform that's going to happen, because I know it's going to happen in multiple ways on multiple platforms, and I know I am just merely scratching the surface of what I'm here to do. And I feel the next 5 years is going to be clarifying in that, as to clarifying what is it that I'm going to be doing here in the world exactly, and the rest of this time is going to be more of a building and executing that. But I truly, truly believe in I believe that one person can change a lot. You know, I believe that I know that we have incredible impact because every single one of us have been assigned many, many, many people to them that are then assigned other people. And then, you know, you create this ripple effect by just being and by just embodying your message. So my impact, I believe, is for embodying my message and embodying who I am and sharing who I am on the truest level and on the most vulnerable and authentic level. And going into my fears of showing up in ways that I haven't before, because I know for a fact that I am so afraid. If someone gave me an audience of 100,000 people, I would shit myself.
Me too.
So that wouldn't go very well. I would probably, but then after 10 minutes, it would be great.
Yes.
But first, I would probably cry in front of them and they would love me for it. So
Yes.
my impact comes from being very vulnerable with people. And I don't have issues with crying in front of people. I can cry in front of 100,000 people. If that's gonna make someone feel I'm as human as they are, that's great, you know. So I believe my impact comes from just being me and being vulnerable and being true to myself and sharing my fears, sharing my processes. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really resonate with your impact. I even kind of share it, most of it, like all of it, and it's great, you know, to to know the secret, because actually this is the secret to pure happiness. To be truthful, speak from the heart. There is nothing more deeper. There is
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. All we have to do is to keep practicing, never give up, and keep going ahead. So thank you very much, Angelika. Was
Thank you.
my body is shaking. My soul is like, Sergio, you are great, and everybody else is great. So yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to you and to all the people that have joined us.
Thank you very
It's
much.
really nice.
So
And how do I get out?
okay, yeah,
Y-
I'll close it straight away.
Okay.
Before the next time we'll see Angelika, if you want to connect with her, you have all the details, and any question you have. Yeah, thank you so very much for your time, for everybody. I wish you all the
Thank you.
best. I send you loads of love, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.